There's loads of people. KJ's joining me first on the show. Welcome, bro. Massive, huge news that has come out. Talk to me.
Terry. I've been saying this for a while. You've said it as well. PMP, bruv. We need more of that. And we're getting it. Bryan Mbeumo is a player that many Man United fans, towards like the middle of the season, during January, actually, when we were kind of linked to him then, were really jumping on the bandwagon and be like, actually, you know what? This is the kind of player that we need for this club. And I'm so glad that we are trying to sign this player and he's picked us, you know? If we were like, it could easily been like, oh, Newcastle are in for him. We're not going to try as a club because we're not going to do it. I thought we wasn't going to do it. I thought, you know what, we're going to try and fail, but at least we tried, right? But these guys have, I don't know how they've sold it to him. I don't know what they've said to him, but he's clearly picked up on the vision of what we're trying to do. And that is what we need at this club. When the only good thing about being rock bottom is that now everyone can see what we are. The only reason why you're coming is to actually help and try and bring us back to the top. Because know that before we've had Champions League, we've had Europa League, we've had pseudo title challenges, we've had European races. And I've some players probably came here thinking, you know what? I've been Champions League or Europa League guaranteed for the most of my time here. They're giving out big wages. And what the players are saying, oh, if you don't like the manager, you can just sack it off and down tools and get the manager sacked and get a new guy. Yeah, cool, I'm coming. You can't do that now. We're not in that position to carry freeloaders and guys who are here who are just for a good time, not a long time. Guys who are not here willing to work. You got to come here to work. And that's what I love about this. And that's what I've said about Bryan Mbeumo. He's a player that will work. He will fight for his team. He's been there and seen their Brentford's best strikers and best players leave, and he's still fighting. He's been there since the championship, still fighting, and he's carried that team on his back multiple times with him and Wissa doing their best that they can for that club. And we need those kind of fighters. Matheus Cunha, a fighter. And Mbeumo, a fighter. And I'm so happy that that's the kind of players we're targeting. Because we could say, screw it, let's blow our load, pause, on Gyökeres. You know what I'm saying? Let's go give him 500k and just convince him to just come for the money. Let's go and get Osimhen, even though I still would love him, but he looks like he's going Saudi. We're Osimhen, his 500k a week, come and help save us. We could have easily done that, and we didn't. We're being smart, and I like that. And it's funny because early on today's show, you had like Wolfie and the guys and Tom and stuff there. We're talking about Cunha, and they obviously were saying Newcastle. And I put something in the comments saying, but why would these reports come out if it's almost guaranteed that Newcastle is signing? Or if it's almost guaranteed that Arsenal are signing? Why would the reporters come out and say Bryan Mbeumo doesn't care about Champions League and Man United, they're pushing hard if we had no chance? I'm not saying that we 100% was going to get him from the start. I'm not saying that. But people were saying we have no chance. But yet these reports are coming out.
No, I agree.
It didn't compute to me.
It just a lot of it, and I think we're all guilty of this when it comes to our rivals clubs. A lot of it with Man United is, I'm going to say what I hope is happening as opposed to what probably is happening. And a lot of people just want to write us off. They want to play us down. And in the cold, hard light of day, United haven't lost all of their appeal. We're still a massive, giant football club. And it was the way Ben Jacobs, who I keep saying to people, is not normally that nice about Manchester United, right? And I mean that in the nicest possible way. You remember when we were chasing Christian Eriksen, it was just like, no.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't even entertain it because he hadn't heard it. It was the way he was talking about this deal where I'm going, there's a really good chance here. There's a really good chance we're going to get him. It just felt like it. And I was very happy to see the news, but I wasn't sitting there going, well, that's out the blue.
Yeah, and then one thing, I tweeted this as well, but I'll say it on here so people can hear me say it. Many rivals are going to be confused. They're going to be like, why is he going there for? Oh, he's ruined his career. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. Someone's advised him badly. He's only going there for the money, which if we're broke, how can you do that? But anyway, that's a different point. Like, we're fans and we're tribal and we see things from a fan perspective. But what people don't probably want to think about, especially rivals, is being the team, being part of the team, being the player that gets Man United from where we are back to the top.
Oh.
It's attractive, bro. You will be legendary. You will be a bigger legend at this club doing that than taking Newcastle to the Premier League. If you're part of the team that takes Man United to the Premier League, you're a bigger legend. Your name will be sung way more. Your name will be immortalized in football better than if you did it for Newcastle. Not to try and crap on Newcastle, because if they win the Premier League, it would be amazing. And if you're part of that team, you're also a legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the size of our club, being a legend at Man United is like almost like nothing else. It's almost like nothing else. And players, if they are up for the fight, if they've got the confidence and if they believe in themselves and they're part of the right project at this club, they're gonna want to do it because they believe in themselves. They've got the fight to do it. And that's what we've been needing. And this is why I'm happy about this kind of signing. Because no player signing for this club now is here for the free money, bruv. It's impossible.
Well, there ain't none. There ain't no free money. There ain't no free money. No, mate, I totally agree with you, mate. Listen, KJ, we'll chat again soon. We're going to get some of the other boys on. Great words, my friend. Thank you. Cameron is on with us now. What are you saying, Cam?
What's good, man? I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong. I was one of the people who said he's going to Newcastle. You saw in the group chat. I was like, I was straight up don't even want to entertain it. I was like, don't even bring it to me. He's going to Newcastle. I'm like, why wouldn't he go to Newcastle? It also felt like such a Newcastle signing, British. He's on the way up. They're on the, you know what I mean? But as a man, you hold your hand up when you're wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong in this situation. As I am in most situations, I'm more than happy to be wrong and admit it. I think when it comes to the importance to the team, this just signals a few things. One, we're not just buying players specific for Amorim's system. We're not just doing that because, I'm sorry, has Mbeumo ever played as a right wing back? Will he potentially do that in our system? Potentially. You could see him out there. He's probably going to be one of the 10s in my opinion, but then, we have 3-4 10s now, right? Which is great. And I think a big reason why, if you're some of these players to decide to come to us, is there's a runway of playing time too, right? Like Brian Mbeumo looks at our team and goes, oh, so Ahmad's my competition. Great. He's a kid. He's awesome, but he's a kid. I should be able to keep my place ahead of, I don't do this. Listen, I love Ahmad. He just signed a contract. I'm like you. I don't do this. Oh my God, his route is blocked. I'm like, oh my God, we just signed a player, in my opinion, who is better than the player we all love right now and is saying is the player that's going to help take us forward. So if we're just saying in the 10 role, cool. We have Brian Mbeumo and we have Cunha in the 10 role. You look at our team this year and you just by contract, just put those names in there. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's nice. That's a good, there's 20 more goals potentially. Because I'm not going to give him the 20 goals that he had at Brentford. It's not going to happen at United because now they're going to get shifted around. He's not the whole team at United. That's the point. And that's when a lot of people are like, oh, you get stifled. It's like, no, Cunha's not going to score 15 probably. And if they do, let's just say they do match their output. That's insane. I think this is further reason. Mbeumo. I can't say it with a French accent. I speak Spanish, so my French is gone. So
I think you might have called him a different nationality. I think you might have said he was British or something.
Oh no, I meant from our league. From
league. I know exactly what you mean. I knew what you meant, but
he's Cameroonian. Yeah, I get it. Whatever. Yeah. No, he's from the Prem. He's a Premier League proven player. He's very that's what I mean. He's this profile is English right now. I get it. Okay. Also on top of this now, don't sell Bruno. I think when we were talking about selling Bruno, and we're talking about getting ahead of his decline, that's the only reason I would sell him, by the way, is getting the money ahead of his decline. Well, now when you're bringing in really good players, you don't sell your best player, in my opinion. You see what happens when he's surrounded by other really good players. That is key to me. If we're going to keep making these signings, then we shouldn't even be bothering with selling Bruno, because I get people saying, oh, he's not an 8. He can't play in the midfield. Well, he did do that quite a bit for us this year. The whole, he loses the ball a bunch. He was fine as an 8. I didn't see a big issue with it. I think you can go get another one.
Yeah.
Here. So this whole oh, now we have Bruno replacements. Go get rid of Bruno. It's why? Why get rid of your best player when you are getting great players around him who he's going to be able to speed, like the connection. It's going to be when I think about the creativity from those three players. I watched a lot of Brentford. You knew I was a huge Thomas Frank stan. Like I wanted him as our United, as our manager at one point. I think of the creativity between those three players, and all of a sudden it's like they all score goals from the 10 and they all create a shit ton. All we're missing now is a striker. Like we need to go get more than one, but we need a striker so badly to finish this puzzle, the attacking puzzle. Like it's just, and another thing that I know you talk about a lot, but people keep forgetting. They're like, well, there goes the money. There goes the money. We said we had 100 million to spend. And you can correct me on this if I'm wrong. If my opinion is, if you say you have 100 million to spend, you're factoring in the debt that you already had to pay for players in that year.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah, I just assume you're not just like, oh, we have 100 million to spend, but we're 300 million in debt on players. No, you factor in the debt you already have, right? Okay, so Cunha, the deal is structured in 3 installments, 2 payments, meaning probably 35 million up front, the first cost, and then Brian Mbeumo is going to be structured across multiple. So if you do the math, we actually still have more money to spend before we have to sell, but we also know we are selling.
This is very, very true. Plus, it's the one question that never gets asked, and I wish I had the access. I would just ask, if I got to do Gary Neville's interview with Sir Jim, my first thing would be, when they say you've got 100 million to spend, is that 100 million in totality, or is that 100 million with amortization? So for instance, do you mean you can spend 100 million pound on players and spread it, or is the most you can spend 100 million? Because Mbeumo is going to be 10 million pound year one. That will get spread over 5 years. Yep. So that's 10 million pound. Is that 10 million pound out of the 100 million, or do you take the 50 million from the 100 million? That would help fans understand the finances
that's
a little bit better. Yeah.
But I think that is the case, because otherwise we would have zero money always. Right? Like if you actually think about it, we would literally, and I'm not saying it's all, like there's probably a percentage, I could be wrong, like you're saying, we don't have the actual answer, but just logically thinking, if it was every year United have 100 million to spend and that's it, we wouldn't sign as many players as we've signed over the years. It would be impossible. If you actually go back and look at like the spends we've had over the years, the only time that we had done that was when we spent 80 million on Harry Maguire up front. The only time when we blew the budget, it was Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire that summer.
Yeah.
And we didn't see players properly come in for a bit. And we still were buying players, but it was, we have to wait till summer. We can't buy in January. We have to do loans. And that's because we blew the budget. So either way, happy about the signing if it goes well from this point on, but I was waiting for this part. I was waiting for an Ornstein or Fabrizio. I'm tired of, there's too many. It's so early. It's June 2nd, by the way, people. June 2nd, and United will have made 2 extremely big signings.
Yeah, and this is the thing for me, which I'm so 1 second, I'm just messaging Staffy. Like I better be buzzing. It's so early in the window. They're the right age, they're the right physicality, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, I love it. Listen, Cam, always a pleasure.
One more thing. I don't want to sound like, obviously, if he slaps at Chelsea, great. I'm good for him. Delap turning us down, sometimes it's not a bad thing when players choose to go other places, because it kicks you in the ass. And Delap was an easy signing for us. It was a cheap one. I think that's why we were always going to do it. It was a low risk signing. I don't believe if we were in the UCL cemented that he would have been number one on our docket. And I prefer a player like Brian Mbeumo over him. So I'm guessing that him turning us down, because you saw that's when it really came out, was we heard Delap's not coming, and it was almost instantaneous.
Well, and that's also why when I saw rivals just disregarding us, I still said I saw Newcastle as favourites, but it was Newcastle will get him. It was the way that news came out. United are now putting their eggs into that basket because there was this 100 million to spend before we sold anybody. And I think what's helping us is that the Gyökeres situation is stalling. So there isn't the need to press on with that, even though it's maybe the most important position, because that deal doesn't look like it's going to be announced anytime soon. It doesn't feel that way. So the club can go, right, let's get this done. We can resolve the Bruno thing. We'll work towards selling these other players and then move on. The great news is this one should go through quite quickly from now, touching wood. Hopefully what we have is 2 players ready, minimum, for the start of pre-season, if not a few more. Because the one thing, again, we haven't done very often for any manager at this club in 12 years is have the majority of his new players for pre-season.
Nope.
So to have that is massive. Cam, always a pleasure, mate. Chat to you again.